ground and it exploded. I'm grabbing a towel, okay?
No, we're recording the podcast. Leave the puddle of water till later. It's water.
It'll dry.
It's just fucking
I
legs.
have the towel. Give me a minute.
No.
Oh my God, there's water everywhere.
Welcome back to the Misfits Podcast, the podcast in which Swagger Souls cleans up a puddle of water for 30 minutes straight while we all laugh on as we spectate. Let's do this.
Right.
Okay, go Toby. Go
Okay.
Toby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Misfits podcast. Today, we have Fitz.
Hello.
Hi, Notorious.
Yeah.
Creamy.
Hi.
Zuckles.
G'day, boys.
And the one and only Swagger Souls.
There's water on my pop filter.
Also joined by two special guests, Ryan P.
Hello.
And Samuel.
Hey, stop, boy.
Who are our managers, by the way, which is going to be...
Around the beautiful nation. So, who wants to pick this up? Who wants to start?
Nation.
It's a
continent.
Europe.
It is a continent.
Fuck.
My favorite nation, Europe.
Dude, is that Nick Compton?
Europe is my nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, no, I mean, some of you may know what this is going to be about. We've been kind of hyping it up on various channels for a while as to what the Poland story is. And now we're finally going to get it down, and we're gonna tell the whole thing, and it's going to be... Well,
I'm fucked.
if you thought we were fucked up
Bit of a
before,
shit show.
they're definitely going to think that we're fucked up now. So,
Shit.
so buckle up.
I think this is the story that defines how fucked up we are.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I think the video of me on the balcony tops it for me.
Oh yeah, we can get into that later.
All right, we have a lot
Anyway.
of fucked up stories, but okay,
Yeah.
just for the record, this story mainly it doesn't involve me. I wasn't in Europe at the time, so I was at home. So I'm just kind of here to kind of ask questions and.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Same with
I'm
McCreamy.
the
So
same.
we weren't present, and Toby, you were there, but you weren't really that present throughout the night of the story, or at
No,
least
not
not that much.
Oh,
the second
shit.
one. We'll go
But anyway,
through...
why don't you start it off with you guys as to why you were in Europe and you know what you were there for in the first place.
I'll take that. So Zuckles and I got flown out to Paris to play the new Far Cry game, and the Americans decided that they would come and join us after we had finished what we had to do in Paris, and we flew to we actually trained to Rotterdam, and that's kind of where everything started.
Yeah, we ended up meeting up in France because me and let me mute my phone. Me and Notorious, we flew down together to France, and the reason that we were coming, it was all for IEM, Katowice.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So we were down for that. So while we were at it, everyone was like, "Oh well, Toby and Mason, they're going to be in France either way. So we'll just meet up in France. We'll stay a couple nights in France, and then we can go to the Holland. We'll go to Holland, the Netherlands, and chill in Rotterdam. The Holland. That's right, the Holland, not the one or yeah." So we were down in Holland. We stayed there. Got some good stories from there too, and then eventually we went from Rotterdam to Germany.
That was the car ride.
Oh, no, we need to explain this story. I feel like this is where it started.
What, the one to Berlin?
Yeah.
Oh.
What is
That one's an interesting... I can't believe we forgot about that.
Oh no, yeah, we can detail our whole trip in Europe and lead up right to the Poland story because that was near the
I
end.
feel like that's better, yeah.
All right, we'll just start where the fucked up shit starts happening. Okay,
Yeah,
Ryan,
fair enough.
do you want to explain where this
I
starts?
start this story. No, this one's
Yeah.
probably... Oh, no, this one's
Alright,
definitely
thank you.
appropriate, my story.
You
Yeah.
sure? Okay.
Yeah.
She's the one that got us lost.
God. So,
Yeah.
I wake up the morning of...
Fucking burger smell good as shit. God
I
damn.
wake up the morning of the day that we have to travel from Rotterdam to Berlin. So through the Netherlands and then across Germany. I wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have some of these psychedelic truffles. Let's go ham.
Of course.
So,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Swagger and I had done them the night before. We had a good time. Like, we had a good
Oh, it was
night. We
very
didn't
nice.
take many.
Yeah,
and Ryan was like on the
microdosed.
fence, but he's like, oh, I'm not sure. And then the next morning, we're like, all right, Ryan, you got to do it. He's like,
I was like,
All right,
alright.
boys,
So I
I'm
just
in.
got up and decided munching them down.
Just to clarify again, by the way, Ryan is my manager, and
Oh, yeah.
Ryan are our manager.
All of our managers. It's all of our manager.
They
Europe
managed
became
the
a
group.
boys' trip very quick.
Oh, dude.
We all had our work requirements, but Europe was pretty much like a holiday.
Yeah, in their defense, this
We
wasn't
gotta
work
get
related. It wasn't a work related trip at this
No.
point. It was
But
just a vacation.
keep in mind, he ate the truffles before scheduling our train ride.
I hadn't even booked the train tickets at this point, so I ate the truffles as we're checking out of this hotel, the sex hotel that I booked, mind you.
Yeah.
And then,
That's a sick hotel.
And then as we're checking out, I'm on my phone booking the tickets. So I managed to book our train tickets. Everything's sorted. They send me the instructions and they're in German. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, what do I do with this? So we got to the train station. I went up and asked someone, and I'm like, hey, what's the go here? And at this point, like, the truffles had kicked in. And I hadn't had, like, a huge dose.
They
I
kicked
just
in
had
when
a
we.
little bit.
They kicked in when we were at Starbucks. When we were at the Starbucks in the train
Yeah,
station,
yeah,
you were
yeah.
sitting
Oh,
there
really?
looking it on your laptop, and I was drinking the coffee and eating my muffin. And you go, hey, Swagger, what does it say? I go, it says ticket from like Holland. It was like Rotterdam to Berlin, you know, or like to some other part, like in Holland, to make the transition into the border. And I just read it out to you, and you go, yeah, that's what I thought it said. And I go, yeah, it's in English. And you go, you see like the letters, like it's just letters, like they don't mean anything. They're just words. They just don't mean anything. And I was like, okay, Ryan. I was drinking my coffee.
Red flag number one.
Yeah. So I just had this concerned look on his face. I'm like, why are you so concerned? Like, I'm fine. Like, I know what I mean by this.
You go, they're letters. They don't mean anything. And it was our
letters, what do
fucking
they mean?
train ride. It was our fucking train ride.
He
That we
was
needed
so
to get
unconcerned
it.
the whole morning.
Oh, he
Like,
was
the
so
entire
mellow.
morning,
He was
was
so
just having
mellowed
the
out.
biggest boogie. If you can imagine the dancing hot dog man.
Wait,
from
the
Snapchat,
dancing hadn't
that's just
started
why.
yet. The dancing hadn't started yet. So these truffles had kicked in, and like I didn't take enough because we didn't have enough on us. So Sam and another friend of ours, Peckett, who's also Sam, went from the train station. Like, our train's in half an hour at this point, by the way, too. And they go and try and find a store to buy them because they're legal in Amsterdam. So they disappear, and I'm just sort of sitting there with Swagger like, hey, what's this screen say? What's the words telling me? And Swagger's just so concerned. So then I walk over to the lady, and I didn't just walk over to the lady, I danced my entire way over to the information desk.
I'm just imagining the hot dog dance, like,
Yeah,
while walking towards her.
it was the Snapchat
Literally hot
dance
dog
the
man.
entire day. So then I go over and she's like, oh, look, your email says this. She basically translated it for me. She's like, go to this platform, get on this train. So we go, Sam and Peckett both get back. I take more truffles, and then we go upstairs, and we all gather together and get on the train. The first train ride was what, like 45 minutes, I think? And there was this
only very short.
Yeah, but there was this lady on the train, and she looked at us all as we walk into the train cabin, and she's like, "Oh, you know this is first class." And we're like, "Yeah, we know." Like,
She assumed we were peasants.
and then she sort of gave us this look, and from then I was just like scared of her because I was like, "Oh no, this lady's gonna kill me." She was wearing like a very like, oh, how do I explain? It was just like a very Soviet hat.
Well dressed.
Yeah, and I was just scared.
Oh, yikes.
It was like very much like 40-year-old European wealthy woman, and I was just like, this is scary. What do I do? Anyway, she started talking to me, and then midway through the conversation, I was like, oh, I'm really high on truffles right now, by the way. And she just pissed herself laughing. She thought it was the funniest thing. Then we have a conversation with her, and she's like, oh yeah, have a nice trip, guys. See you later. I'm getting off. This is my stop. And she goes, yeah, and she's leaving. She's like, have a nice trip. And I turn to her, and I'm like, what do you mean by that?
What you mean by that?
What you talking about, bitch?
She mean like have a nice trip on truffles. I was shocked, but anyway, so we get off, and then I'm dancing away, and at this point I can see the concern on a couple of people's faces in the group.
We have to remember, like, half of us were on edibles, or like nearly all of us were on edibles too at the same time.
I was the only guy who was relatively sober.
Swagger was like, look, I'm traveling across Europe today. I'm making sure I'm staying sober. And then we get off this train, and I'm like, okay, the time doesn't match the platform on my phone. So I go up to the information desk, and I'm like, yeah, your train's just delayed. Go to the platform and wait 15 minutes. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we all go down, and I come back, and Sam was like, oh, look, everyone's a little bit concerned that you're just really high. And I'm like, oh, I am really high. So I was like, look, everyone, I want you to know I'm like fried out of my mind right now. I still know what's going on, and I'm confident in what I'm doing. Like, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Braver would say
Yeah.
First, we explain what truffles are for people that don't know.
Psilocybin, psychoactive.
It's a psychedelic.
It's magic mushrooms.
It's pretty much magic mushroom.
Go on.
So we walk down to the platform and we're waiting there, and then a train rocks up, and I'm like, this is a bit of a small train. Oh well, this will do. So we hop on, and it's supposed to be about 2.5 hours. So I showed the tickets to the conductor, and he's like, staring at my phone a bit, and he's like, okay, get on.
Saw the
We all get
notification on your screen. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
you would also
Oh
go-
yeah. I
Yeah,
was
no,
fixing
so
to
I
say
can't
like,
check.
hey,
on.
I should watch this fucking
Anyway, then
stream
we're sitting down on the train.
because it has Wildcat and
Conductor comes
shit.
back about 20 minutes later, checks out tickets.
So,
and I
oh,
was staring at
shit.
my phone for a really long time.
Oh hello.
And I was sort of like, what's the go here? Like, am I just
But yeah.
overthinking this because I'm high, or is he actually double checking something? And then he just scanned our tickets and moved on. So he didn't even say anything to us.
This whole time, Zuckles and I were in a different train.
Yeah,
a
so
different
our
carriage.
cabin, we couldn't find one. We walked like 3 or 4 carriages with Swagger's got 2 huge suitcases with him, struggling, and he's just so angry.
Oh, he looks like the grumpiest cunt as well.
Swagger's so old when he's grumpy. It's hilarious.
It's like ages 30 years.
Don't worry, we come back to Grumpy Swagger right at the end of this podcast. Oh yeah, we swing back around. Anyway, and he's just so angry, and I'm sort of like, I don't want to talk to him because he'll snap at me, so I just avoid him.
I wouldn't have.
Anyway, we get into a cabin, and then Zuckles and Toby are both in a completely different one because they're like, we can't be bothered walking anymore, we're just going to sit here. So,
And I was stressing out the whole time.
but the cabin that we found was pretty empty. There was like 5 other people in it maybe, and there was a heap of spare seats. So we're
2
messaging
women.
them, like,
Damn it.
there was 2 women, and then there was 2 dudes at the back, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running for a
we're
full
messaging
kill.
them, telling them to come up, and they're like, no, we're not coming up. I'm like, alright. So 2 hours into the train journey, we're starting to get close to when we have to get off. And I'm looking at the screen on the train, and looking at my phone, I'm like, those times don't match at all. Like, I know we were delayed, but there's no way that these times match up. And I'm sort of just sitting
How
there
long
trying
was
to
it
figure
streaming?
it out for like another
12
15
minutes?
minutes, and no one said anything. And then everyone starts messaging me, when are we getting off? Aren't we supposed to get off soon? And I start, like, getting very overwhelmed at this point. And Toby's downstairs, like, freaking out a little bit.
Toby,
like,
and I was
what's
with
the
the
go?
I was having panic attacks this entire trip. It was just
Yeah.
very stressful.
Well, didn't you try some as well?
Yeah, but I had so little that I don't actually think it affected me.
Fair enough.
2 German girls